to give you.
I mean, shit, I'm like 80% on the year when it comes to these player props. Though I ain't even gonna hold you.
You're
80%.
not nowhere near 80% on the year.
I'll show them all to you. I'm 80% documented. That's
All
the
right,
crazy part. Is it's documented
all right.
live.
Document these.
Yo, the slate's gonna be crazy this week, bro. There's Cowboys is leading off, man, playing the Rams this week, bro. It should be.
That's
How you
easy
feeling
money.
about your Cowboys, man? A lot of
How you feeling about the San Francisco 49ers losing to PJ Walker, then coming back and losing to a taken Minnesota Vikings team? When it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys lose, it's a national story for a fucking month. But when the 49ers lose to a third-string quarterback, everybody is silent. That's ridiculous.
That quarterback got a concussion, obviously. We saw he got a concussion,
then you see,
right?
Nick Chubb. The Browns didn't have Nick Chubb. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they didn't have Deshaun Watson, even though he's a bum. The 49ers is the only team that got injuries, apparently.
Nah, at the end of the day, we ain't get the job done. And I feel like this Niners team, without the weapons, we're seeing Brock Purdy.
Without the weapons.
Brock Purdy, no, I'm being real. Brock Purdy is not a guy he's a system quarterback, and he needs to have weapons around him for this team to rock. So, unfortunately, the defense, I thought the defense could carry. The defense has flaws, too, in the secondary. So, you letting little ass Jordan Addison have his way with our secondary. I don't like it.
2 weeks ago when you beat Dallas, they was getting the parade route ready.
Hey, it's a different
story.
But
I was saying,
man.
it's the NFL season, y'all. I'm telling you. But
it's the NFL. You know this, Corey.
When Dallas lost, it was the end of the world. Michael Parsons was right.
Dallas ain't the Niners. Full strength Dallas and Niners. What we going with?
Michael Parsons was right. When it's Dallas, it's one story. Everybody else get a pass. Jalen Hurts, 8 turnovers so far this season. Nobody don't say a word. Let Dak have 8 turnovers in week 8.
Well, listen.
And Stephen A. Smith head would have flew off on fucking first take.
Listen.
He's spitting right now. I'm not going to hold you.
We can have this Niners Cowboy debate later, but I want you to handle my lightweight for me this week, Corey. Talk about the Rams and Cowboys, man. -6.5 on the spread right now, 45.5 on the total. How are you feeling about this game overall when it comes to the betting aspect of it? Because the Cowboys and Rams, man, on paper, it seemed like the Cowboys should have, had their way with the Rams. Are you feeling the same way?
Oh, I just look at what Mike McCarthy. Let's just look at the last 2 seasons. Or you can go through Mike McCarthy's whole history in Dallas. But if we go back just the last 2 seasons alone, let's go back to 2021, 22, and then the start of this season. The Dallas Cowboys' home favorites have been basically free money when you put Dallas as a favorite spot at home, and then coming off a bye as well. This is a good spot for Dallas. Now, obviously, we know with Big Dallas over the last 2 years, 4-1 ATS as a home favorite. Average lane about 6 points, where the numbers exactly is this week. So what I would say is this: you know how it is with Dallas. If they can stop the run and force you into turning the ball over, they're going to drag you. If you can run the ball and play your game, you got a good shot at making it a Dak Prescott game. When it becomes the Dak Prescott game, that's advantage to Rams. You know what I'm saying? So I think Matthew Stafford turns the ball over enough. Dallas will get a couple short fields. Dallas should win the game by 10 points.
And the Rams don't have a running game either.
Yeah,
so they don't have the running game. It's gonna be easy money for the Cowboys. And how about the overs for Cooper Kupp or Puka? How you feel about that?
You just don't know which one it is. You know what I'm saying? We saw it last week. You don't know which one it is.
And I'm gonna keep it real. Like this Dallas team, as far as the receivers, they ain't really even been giving up a whole lot of points to receivers. They ain't been giving up a whole lot of yards to receivers. The secondary, with or without Trayvon Diggs, has been playing well. So I look at this game, and I think a lot of people are excited about like Stafford getting his weapons back. There's no run game. I'm kind of looking at a player prop that I like too. Under 254.5 passing yards for Matt Stafford. This Cowboys defense doesn't give up 250 yards to quarterbacks. With that pass rush, with the secondary, with the way it plays, the last 3 weeks, 222, 226, and 231. Why are we giving Stafford 254? That doesn't make sense to me. So, to me, that's a smash play against this Dallas Cowboy defense. I think the pass rush gets there. I think the secondary is good. And you know what? As far as having Puka, Cooper, and Cooper Kupp, maybe they get some receptions. But as far as the yards themselves, Stafford under 254.5 passing yards is my play there.
Yeah, then this Stafford number – listen, it's a tricky number because he's cashed it 4 times this year at that same spot. But Dallas has only allowed one quarterback to get over their passing prop. So I think you can use that. Also, this is one that I like to do on underdog and prize picks. If you're in that type of fantasy type thing, go lower Matthew Stafford passing and rushing is set at 260. No quarterback this year has covered that number versus Dallas. So that's probably my favorite player prop coming out of this game on the weekend, that Matthew Stafford passing and rushing under 260 and a half.
Gotcha.
The Cowboys play. Michael in the chat said the Cowboys played, and they play who's on the schedule, son.
We on that list too. What happened when you said, you know what I mean? I know you're so worried about what we did over the last 2 weeks. What happens when we went head to head though, Corey?
We lost. The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you lost.
That one.
Took that L, right?
Yeah, I'm willing to admit that, and I'm not going to blame. We didn't have Trayvon Diggs. We didn't have Tony Dorsett. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all needed Tony Dorsett in order to beat us. Man. Dak, you worried about Dak playing? He played really well before the bye, though, so that was good to see. But I still think
he's up and down. He's up and down, in and out with me. I'm not really the big, you know me. I'm not a Prescott guy.
Why is that, Corey?
Nothing to do with his hue. It's because I'm a Tony Romo guy. That's why.
Hey, you still not over the fact that he just took Tony Romo's job?
Tony Romo was hurt. You shouldn't lose your job because of injury. You know what I'm saying? Tony Romo cared, Joe. You know what I'm saying? He cared. He cared. Dak Prescott throw interception, come to the podium with his cowboy hat, talking about we got to do better. Nah, son, you got to do better. So I'm not. But listen. Honestly speaking, they should be able to handle the Rams this week.
Got you. How about the game heading to New York? There's a battle of New York going on right now. Yes. The Giants versus Jets. And even though the Jets have been playing very well, especially in the MetLife Stadium, I don't know. Something's telling me that the Giants may be able to pull this one off. I think this has been a good turn in the right direction for the New York Giants and the win they had last week. And how do you guys feel about that, though? Because right now they're sitting at plus 200 at home?
Yeah.
Plus 138. They switched it up. Plus 138 on the money.
It's a 3-point. Jets are a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, on the real, this is an ugly ass game though. I hate games like this, bro. This is an ugly ass game. We get Zach Wilson versus Tyrod Taylor. Daniel Jones is out this week, so only thing good in this game is the running back, Saquon and Breece Hall. To me, that's going to be is who can dominate in the run game, and I think that's going to be who sets the tone for this one. Only 35.5 points on the total. I'm like, ain't going to be a whole lot of offense there. For me, I look at this Jets defense, and when you think of them, obviously in the secondary, that's where they have one of the best secondaries in the league. But then in the run game, even with Quentin Williams, it feels like there's some vulnerability there. So I kind of like Saquon to have a pretty good performance against this Jets team. Tyrod Taylor's been moving the ball downfield, taking shots with Jalen Hyatt. So give me the Giants in this one, -3. +3.
I take the 3. I take the 3 with the Giants as well, and I probably would sprinkle the money line. Really, the strength of both teams is their defensive, particularly their defensive front. Then it becomes kind of okay. So then, where you go to next? When you look at offenses, I think the Jets have better weapons than Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Like, I'm not a Saquon Barkley guy, but I think
how can you not be a Saquon?
Because why would you be? The dude stay hurt. Stay hurt. He's underachiever.
Regular old head. Just a regular old head.
That was me. That was me. Now I'm the issue, and not the fact that Saquon Barkley averaged 2.8 yards to carry. But it's all me. You know what I'm saying? Nah, real talk though. It's a 3-point game either way. I wouldn't go to the window with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nah. If anything, maybe some Darren Waller props. Maybe Breece Hall.
This team gives up the most fantasy points to tight ends, the Jets do. So for me, Darren Waller, that's a play coming off a 90-yard game. He had that drop, the egregious pass interference that didn't call at the end of that Monday night game. So Darren Waller, they're looking to get him a little bit more involved since he came back from that hamstring injury earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to Darren Waller. He's having a decent season this year. I had him all over the place in fantasy last year, and he ain't do nothing. At least he bounced back nicely on somebody else's team this year. You know y'all know how that go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So for the last 3 games, Darren Waller has had 86 yards against Miami, 43 yards against the Bills, and 98 yards against the Washington Commanders. And right now it's sitting at for the over 44.5. So
I think even more so than the over, this is a good spot touchdown wise, right? For Darren Waller. And in the last 5 games they played, they've given up 5 touchdowns to tight ends. So this team's seen everybody scoring them. Jake Ferguson, Shoemaker, Pharaoh Brown, Noah Gray, like everybody's scoring against this damn team. So I think Darren Waller has a good opportunity to score. That'd be a good anytime play.
Brees Hall prop numbers all the way up to 68.5. That's pretty high. But the running backs normally have good games versus the Giants. I think you got to feature Brees. So I may, that's not a Sunday. This is more see what this number look like on Sunday morning. I think that's an intriguing line. But I just can't. It's too many players here that's not really dudes I want to get behind. Pause.
Mm-hmm. This game's ugly. We're just gonna call it what it is. This game is some
Yeah,
trash, bro. At MetLife, trash at MetLife this Sunday, man.
I got you, but it's the battle in New York. We gotta talk about that, bro. I like that.
New York. Corey got that hat on. I know you ain't interested at all in this New York battle, Corey.
This New York football is not good in New York. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
You got the Yankee fitted Cowboys. What's the
you come in New York? You come in New York to win the championship. You go to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? You don't go to Madison Square Garden. You don't go out to New Jersey to play for the football teams.
We're talking about battles. We can get into the thumbnail of the show. The two battle of the QBs facing off, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. Right now, the Panthers are underdogs at home at plus 150, while the Texans are minus 178. How do you guys feel about this game? Who do you think is going to win, or some player props that people should look into?
I'll probably throw this in a teaser, to be honest with you, because I think, I'll probably tease. If anything, I'll probably tease Houston, because if Carolina does win the game, I think Carolina wins the game on a field goal. I do think Carolina coming out the bye, this number's a 3.5.
New offensive coordinator
coming out the bye, new play caller.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Carolina to win the game. I think Carolina gets their first win of the season.
I don't know how I like the Texans, and I think they're a good football team. D'Amico's done a really good job with this team so far, but giving up points on the road, I don't know. Just coming out the bye, to me, that seems a little odd. Even though Carolina hasn't got a win yet, I kind of like the Carolina side of this too. But when it comes to like player props, one area that Carolina has been super vulnerable is to running backs. So we've seen multi-score days from Tyler Algier, Tony Jones, Kenneth Walker. To me, this looks like even Raheem Mostert. This team has played 6 games so far, and given up 12 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy. Yeah. Dameon Pierce, I hate him. I've been a Dameon Pierce guy.
It's hard to get behind Dameon Pierce, though. That's the problem.
But this is a plus matchup coming off the bye, and he saw a reduced workload the week before that, dealing with the knee injury. I think it's a get right spot. I hate Dameon Pierce, the player. Like for fantasy, the hard runner, we know everybody already knows on PC. You already know me for that.
53.5.
Nah, give me the touchdown, not the yard.
Okay,
give me the touchdown.
Got it.
Give me the anytime score. Get your money. Get a little bit of extra on there. Give me the anytime score.
Mm-hmm. How you guys liking Tank Dell or Adam Thielen or Nico Collins?
Adam Thielen receptions should be money.
Yes.
What we've noticed from Bryce Young is he has a feeling about Adam Thielen, and he just throws the ball to Adam Thielen all game long. So I think Adam Thielen reception prop would be something that I would be looking to get behind. Adam Thielen reception prop. As far as those other cats, I think Tank Dell just coming back off the concussion protocol. I probably would wait a little bit to get Tank warmed up. I'm going to check in some numbers on Nico right now. It's Houston and Carolina. I think Nico's interesting. So I would, looking at it, Thielen, I would go over, even though Houston has been terrific against the pass this year. Thielen receptions, Nico over 56.5. I probably would get in on that.
I kind of would look at these secondary receivers, right? Like it's easy to go for the Thielens, but a lot of times the Thielens and some of the more elite receivers, those numbers are really dialed in. I think there's some secondary receivers, the DJ Charks of the world, and Jonathan Mingos, especially with Houston, because the secondary has been playing a lot better, even without they lost their corner early on in the year. And even without him, he's been on the shelf now for a couple weeks. Derek Stingley, this team to secondary receivers has been giving up yardage. Rashid Shaheed, 85 yards in the air. Calvin Austin had 25 yards. Jamal Agnew had 49 yards. Josh Downs had 37 yards. Rashad Bateman, 35 yards. So against this team, secondary receivers are seeing action. And I kind of like either a DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo, depending on the number you get. I like some value there.
Go Chark.
Yeah, Chark. I think Chark too.
Go Chark.
I wouldn't go receptions. I would go yards with Chark.
Mingo hasn't
cleared his yards guy.
Mingo hasn't cleared his prop this season. Not one time this season.
Oh, we staying away then.
Yeah, Mango's. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm sorry, he's 1-5 to the prop this year. So I would play under 30.5 for Mango. That might be the bet of the week right there. Like that's a strong look right there. If you need to pay your mortgage and you want to take a gamble.
Only thing I like about that, Corey, only thing I like about that is
it's
coming out the bye.
No,
only thing I like, sometimes coming out the bye, these young guys get more opportunity. Sometimes that's the one thing about the new play caller. Like you just never know with that. So that would be my only concern with Mingo, just flat out saying under. But shit, I ain't mad at it. 1 out of 5, I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna play those odds all the time. You know what I'm saying? Especially the way they throw the ball to Thielen. You know what I mean? Yeah. But Chalk can have a big play. You know what I'm saying?
And Bryce has been playing better too over the last 2 games. He's been playing way better before they got into the bye week. So I kind of like a little bit of that value. That's why I like Carolina this week too. Just Bryce has looked more competent as a passer. If these dudes can get open and catch the rock, we might be seeing a different story about Bryce Young here very soon.
No, well, listen, you know how I feel about it. It's like people be like, oh, we got to see more from Watson. But we've already got the book on Bryce Young. So I'm like, forget it. You know what I'm saying?
Got you guys. One of the better games of the week, actually, the 49ers versus the Bengals. I think that's going to be a very great game. That's going to be a very good game to watch. Hopefully 49ers won't show their true colors again. But how you guys feeling this? The 49ers at home. The Bengals are playing away. The Bengals have been on a little hot stretch for the past few weeks now. How you guys feeling about this and some player props for those guys?
This is a tough one because I think in the past couple of years, these are the kind of games that the Bengals win to get their second half of the season streak rolling. But I think San Francisco really needs this game right here. You know what I'm saying? You know, after
losing
2 losses,
straight is crazy.
Losing 3 straight after getting the city ready for a parade is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
I don't need all these extra shots, y'all. Philly fan, Dallas fan. I don't need all these extra
I'm just saying, y'all was getting the parade route ready. I'm just keeping it a buck. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I probably would take the 4 with the Bengals, but I do not. I put it like this: I'm not going to the window with it. If there's some prop bets in this game, I'd probably get involved with that, maybe a little bit. But as far as if I had to take it, I would take the 4. But I probably would take the 4 with Cincinnati and put the 49ers in the money line parlay. Like that's probably no bet for me.
You know, the one player I guess I'd be looking at for this game in a major bounce back is T. Higgins. Like this offense got to get him right? Joe Burrow, another week removed from the calf, so hopefully all that's going well with him. But his Niner defense, we saw Jordan Addison have his way with us. Like he had his way on Monday night, and I would say that if there's a vulnerability on a Niners team right now, it's in the secondary. So T. Higgins, to me, you can get his receptions, his yardage. His receptions are at 4, yardage is at 46.5. And even with the receptions, he's been seeing 8 targets on it or more on a consistent basis when he's healthy. So I think T. Higgins is going to get active against us. Unfortunately, coming off the bye, I know this is a player that they want to get involved. Give me T. Higgins over on the receptions and on the yardage.
I can get behind it. I don't have no problem. T. Higgins is solid, back, healthy, ready to go. Just see him get a heavy workload. I don't have no problem with that. Is Trent Williams playing this week?
I don't know yet.
He's so critical to this game because Trey Hendrickson can wreck your game plan. And, you need Williams to neutralize him. Trent Williamson might be the best offensive lineman maybe ever, son.
He's up there, bro. Like, he's that valuable. I don't know about ever, but it's not crazy to say that. That's not insane. Like, Trent Williams and what he means for our team, you've seen Brock Purdy look different. The offense looks different. We barely moved the ball against the Vikings, who've been a terrible defense all year. So the team looked way different. We absolutely need them against the Cincinnati team. And I think that's the only reason why that number is sitting at 4 right now. Because I think with Trent Williams
they say is the number sitting at 4 because you act like the team. This is not the same team from 2 weeks ago.
Come on. Here we go.
It's not the same team from 2 weeks. You lost to PJ Walker. You should be lucky to be your favorite period.
Man.
You lost to Kirk Cousins in primetime too, bro. That's crazy.
Wow.
Those are 2 really bad losses.
Bounce back game. Book it. Niners win, throw whatever on the money line. Do that. Get yourself some guaranteed.
You do it. Don't talk to me.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. You know he's not going to do it.
I call cap.
Hey, talking about some games, I seen somebody in the chat talk about it. from Tank Jones. Appreciate you. I'm a Jags fan, but I think the Steelers are most likely to upset this weekend, right? How you guys feel about that game? You think that's a possibility? Pittsburgh is at home, and they're sitting at plus 102.
You know what's wild about this is I don't see this team is point differential is minus 25, and their record is 4-2. That's basically Mike Tomlin. So basically, what Pittsburgh is doing is they're getting the game to the fourth quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, Mike Tomlin outcoaches the other coach, and Pittsburgh walks away with the win. Jacksonville has been phenomenal on the road these past 2 seasons. You getting them for under a field goal, I still would take the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't bet against Mike Tomlin getting points at home.
This is one of those games, man. It's not a division game, but for whatever reason, this feels like it's going to be one of them like back and forth type games, matchups. And I don't know why. Like the Steelers haven't been able to move the ball through the air most of the season. They just started getting right when they came off of their bye. Like to me, I'm not really interested in this Steelers team. Just to be honest with you, they played the Rams last week on the road, somehow got a win. That felt like a game they snuck out. I think at home
they sneak out every game.
It
son.
feels like it, right? But like this Jacksonville team does the same thing somehow. It feels like somehow they a scrappy ass team too, and somehow like we saw them last year in the playoffs, obviously find a way to win that game. But for me, if I was going to play this, I'd look at the player props, and Calvin Ridley is the player I'd be looking at. Why? He's been struggling in a major way over the last few weeks. But we call bounce back spots. This is it. Every single receiver, it feels like that faces Patrick Peterson on the outside goes for 80 to 100 yards. It feels like every single one. So for me, I'm looking at Calvin Ridley. His prop sitting at 49.5 receiving yards. Smashing Calvin Ridley.
That's come down from 53.
Yeah.
I can't get behind Calvin Ridley right now. I can't do it.
See, but that's because you stay out in front, Corey.
Yeah,
you stay out in front with the news.
I like to be on the winning side. Maybe that's
you
what
on
it
the
is.
front side, the front of that. That's what we call that.
You gotta predict the bounce back, man. That's what he's saying.
True. I would go under on Ridley 50.5. I would go. This actually cashed for the first time last week. This was a hidden gem. Najee Harris under 8.5 receiving yards.
You like the under? I like the over there.
That cashed for the first time last week. I'd leave that alone. But I would look at George Pickens over. No, leave George Pickens alone because I like the way Deontay Johnson looked last week. Jalen Warren over 18.5 receiving yards.
See, that's where you attack this team, right? You attack this Jacksonville team with the backs in the air, right? That's what I kind of like that Najee one because they gave him 3 targets last week, which was obviously I think that was a season high for him last week coming off of the bye. And Mike Tomlin showed a little dedication to Najee Harris when everybody else was ready to get rid of him. Everybody else was wanting to say,
help them win the game.
The back. And Mike Tomlin showed a commitment to him. So I kind of like the yards there. I do want to go over this real quick, though, for Pittsburgh, right? When you talk about the receivers, Calvin Ridley's face, or Patrick Peterson's face, and Calvin Ridley, right? On the outside, Brandon Ayuk, 8 catches, 129, 2 TDs. Amari Cooper, 7 catches, 90 yards. Devontae Adams, 13 for 172 and 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins, 7 for 168, 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers, 5 for 73. Puka Nacua on the outside, 8 for 154. Calvin Ridley's about to have a day this week.
If you like Ridley, then you should lay the number with Jacksonville. Because if Ridley go off, they're going to win the game.
I told you I like Jacksonville, but I'd rather play the Ridley success than play this close matchup, especially with the coaching there. Mm-hmm. Doug Peterson versus Tomlin, that's elite coaching right there.
I wouldn't go that far.
Najee Harris.
Huh?
You wouldn't say that's elite coaching? 2 Super Bowl winning coaches?
The day Mike Tomlin retires, he's going into Canton the next day. That's not Doug Peterson.
He's an elite coach in the league, though. Doug Peterson's an elite.
You save elite?
Don't shake your head like that.
You save elite for Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid. That's elite. I don't look at
Doug. That's the best. That's the best out of the elite
Peterson
crew.
As elite.
There's no way, Corey. That's just the best out of. So, So wait.
Right, well, okay, Doug Peterson is a champ.
You bite your tongue?
No, that's like me saying. That's like me saying Steve Smith wasn't elite just because he's not like a top 5 like wide receiver all time.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer.
No, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Steve Smith is going to go into the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not. He's been trying to get in for years. He's not a Hall of Famer.
Steve's not even He's not even retired 5 years yet.
He's been retired. He's trying to get in. They about to put all the other receivers over him.
No. In wide receivers, no, he's not here in the recent 5 years yet. And wide receivers,
he was on the ballot. He ain't get in.
He was on the ballot recently. He'll get in, but you gotta look at wide receiver. You got
Steve Smith ain't getting in. Steve Smith not a top 25 receiver all the time.
But the wide receivers jammed up because you got Torrey Holt in the pipeline, right? You got Larry Fitzgerald in the pipeline, right?
Marvin.
You got Reggie Wayne in the pipeline. Marvin's in. You got Reggie Wayne in the pipeline. You got Fitzgerald coming down the pipe. Antonio Brown is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Steve Smith in that conversation is?
Steve Smith is right behind those dudes.
He gonna keep getting behind.
Well, he's a Hall of, I think he makes it. Put it like that. You don't think he never gets in, Steve Smith?
He ain't getting in.
That's interesting.
He got in for longevity. He played for 17 years. So
you got into something else, man. I was going to cook corn on something else, man. But maybe I should have used somebody else, so y'all didn't do this. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers game, right? The over for Najee and his rushing is sitting at 41.5. I'm not gonna lie, he's been hitting that every single game besides against San Francisco and the Baltimore Ravens. Both of those are great defenses. In my head, that's easy money right there. 41.5 for Najee Harris. He's gonna get the touches. He's been getting 14 carries for the last 4 weeks now. Bro, he should be able to get that, especially against his defense, man.
I like it, don't love it, because Najee's been elite. Najee hasn't been elite. The Jacksonville defense has been elite against running backs. They a lot of times are able to kind of stagnate the running back position, and a lot of times they get beat through the air. But I do like Najee because he has been hitting that number a lot, Dub. So I'm with you there. Got you. We could get into the NBA, but before we get into NBA, I don't want to make sure I'm missing any games. You guys have any games you think we're missing or touching on?
Commanders and Eagles and Commanders. Right quick, I would say that I liked the Commanders a couple of weeks ago when they went to Philadelphia, and they should have won that game too. But they lost.
Better stop playing with me, bro.
I mean,
they lost.
That catch was in bounds. He was stepping on Son arm. You know what I'm saying? But I covered the spread, so I'm not going to trip. I covered the spread. But this week, though, the game's in Washington. I think the Eagles going in and punish this week. Can you listen? Washington is getting destroyed by average wide receivers, and now you get AJ Brown. He might go for 200 on Washington this week. Devontae Smith too. I'm taking every Devontae Smith. Devontae has been really underperforming as of late. That's why I'm the bounce back. Bounce back, baby. Bounce back, baby. Was it 49.5 for Devontae Smith? He can get 50 yards.
51.5.
51.5. Yeah, he'll smash that.
AJ Brown's at 89.5.
Yeah, give me the Devontae Smith 51.5 versus the AJ Brown number. And then I'll probably put the Titans in the teaser, get that up to 9.5. The Falcons ain't gonna beat them like that if they do win the game. And I love the Seahawks. I laid 3.5 with the Seahawks. PJ Walker, their best quarterback. You don't think Deshaun comes back and plays? Like, you think he's crashed the rest of it? Like, you think he's done career-wise? I mean, do I think he plays again? No, not plays again. Do you think we ever see Deshaun? Because, like, obviously we knew Deshaun last year. Deshaun last year, right? He struggled, didn't play well. He hasn't played well, but he showed flashes early this season. You think we never see Houston Texans Deshaun Watson again? I'm trying to think what flashes. Okay, you saw flashes against the Titans defense. Last week, Son threw 5 passes. 2 of them was to the other team. He looked horrible last week. Now you can say his shoulder injury. I know. You got excuses for him. You know, I know you're his attorney. Right? Justin Henry, attorney at law. Esquire.
This is my favorite old head. Yeah,
Esquire. All right, so check it out, Esquire.
Give a W for Corey in the chat.
Yo, I'm not for real. I would. On real talk though, I do like the Seahawks. I don't like the back-to-back road games for the Browns. I ain't feeling that game, man. I don't even like touching that game, man. Seahawks, to me, like, it's weird because the Browns have been more scrappy with PJ Walker. It's a little more volatile. Like, I don't really know what to expect with that team. And the defense, the way Myles Garrett's playing damn near MVP level right now. So
he's a tough game for me. And then
listen,
Tyler
the Browns,
Lockett's questionable. DK's banged
but
up.
JSN, I
Walker's
would
banged
fight.
up.
That's a prop I would get on JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Nah, I'm staying away still.
I would get on him. You know what I'm saying? Pause. And then you said it before. You said it before, but I'm not gonna steal them from you. And then I would play the player props over with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then I laid 3.5 with the Seahawks. And as far as Watson, listen, they got to pay Son $63 million next year, $63 million a year after, and $63 million a year after that.
Guaranteed.
Nobody ever in the history of the NFL is ever getting a guaranteed contract again.
I got you. Correct me if I'm wrong, Corey. You picked the Titans to beat the Falcons?
I think the Titans can win that game with
Will Levis?
With Will Levis, yes. I don't like back-to-back. I don't like back-to-back road spots. I don't like back-to-back road spots.
Are you confident? You're just thinking that the Falcons just don't show up because this Titans defense in the secondary has been exposed all year long. The front seven is good and underrated, I think, for the Titans. But they are going to have to lean so heavily on that run game in order to win this game. Are you just betting on like Vrabel versus Arthur Smith? Like
I'm betting Vrabel versus Arthur Smith. Yes.
But the Falcons is a team that's not this crazy passing team. They primarily are a running team that depend on that. So if the Titans shut that down, which they can do, I mean, I'm rolling with a team with Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel. Drake London's a stud, I think, but I think they have the pieces to be a good passing team. I just don't think the coach is able to just utilize the pieces, right? So
Arthur Smith's a strange one, but this is a revenge game, yo. Low key, this is a revenge
dude, son.
Arthur Smith too.
Smith is a weird dude. You heard his comments this week about not playing Bijan last week?
Fantasy stuff. Why is he loves fantasy more than we do?
Son, why are you coming after people that play fantasy football? You're the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and you talking about I'm playing your fantasy team?
He says that every time. He said that about Kyle Pitts. He said it about Drake London. Now he's saying about Bijan.
Why is he worried about that? Like, you're the head coach. That should not be in your vocabulary.
I think Arthur Smith has a fantasy team. That's what I really think.
Son. He got
going up against Bijan last week. So he's like, hey,
he's been icing for the past 2 games, 2 weeks.
Did you see the shorty that posted the tweet that took a video with him with Bijan Robinson before the game? And he's like, oh, yeah, what's up? You know what I'm saying? He throwing up the deuce and stuff. And then she's like, and then he didn't play. Like, what happened?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. For a football player, headache is the lamest excuse, bro. The lamest, dog. Them dudes play through everything. And they said a headache is the reason they only gave him 1 touch. That don't make no damn sense. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You think Son broke curfew?
I bet on that. If we talking headache, it's because he was out drinking a little too long.
Yeah, I can listen. I don't know how he is on I don't know how he is, in the off season or what he do in his personal time. But what city were they in last week? They was in Tampa.
They was in Tampa.
There's plenty of strippers in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? It could have been. It could have went down. You know what I'm saying?
The stories in Tampa. You got some Tampa stories or what?
It could have went down in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? It could have went down.
Miami right there, you know.
Yeah, I want to say, you know what I'm saying? What's up? Let's make it a night. You know what I'm saying?
All around the world, baby.
Oh my god. I think we touched up on the majority of the NFL games and the things to pay attention on.
Got a nice, robust NBA slate tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what about my Lakers last night, man? Are you still worried about AD? Lakers? You still worried about AD?
Y'all almost lost to the Suns without Bradley Beal and Devin Booker.
I don't worry about the
almost lost to one man, and you had a whole crew healthy. I'm not hearing that. They look trash. I'm not even going to hold you. I don't want to hear about
almost, bro.
You should. You really should. But so how you guys feel about some of the money lines for the NBA games and some of the parlays? I love doing player props. I love doing player props in the NBA season. I think a lot of people, that's where you make your most money. So how you guys feel about some games tonight and some guys that you think can play well?
I think Denver at Memphis Denver's laying 5.5. I think that number is a little short. I'm worried about Memphis, to be honest with you, and it's not because John not there. I'm worried because the Steven Adams loss is a big deal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because then what happens is now you got to send Jaren into the paint. You send Jaren into that paint, he's going to foul out. You know what I'm saying?
Especially against the Nuggets.
Yeah, especially against the Nuggets. He'll foul out. So I would look to fade Triple J tonight. Now, they need to go get Andre Drummond. But little birdie told me the NBA is a small world. So it could be people on the Memphis Grizzlies that know people that Andre Drummond know, and it may not have, you know what I'm saying? It may have been some hot in the salami, you know what I mean? So that may not.
Well, that'd be a good look for them though. They need a big.
I think the Bulls should be sellers. The Bulls suck, bro. The Bulls should be sellers. You know what I'm saying? The Bulls had a players only meeting after the first game.
They shouldn't be that bad with that cast they have. They shouldn't be that bad either.
Exactly, son.
You know, and I think with Memphis, man, obviously when you start talking about like where can you find value, I actually like Triple J tonight, but for the blocks and steals, the stocks, I think that's where you can find some value on him. Only 3, and that seems like a low number. He's gonna have his work cut out against Joker tonight, but I still think he can find some action down there, at least in the post. Three stocks seems a little low for me.
I would agree with that. That especially if he's going to be down there, I would look after that. As far as the game go, I probably would look to figure out a way to get the Nuggets in a couple money line parlays. Other than that, I really don't see anything that's too appealing there. I think, another good player, another player maybe the Memphis Grizzlies should look at to replace Steven Adams is Dwight Howard. I don't know if he wants to return.
Are we going there?
Whoa. Let's go back. Let's go back.
You said you little birdies talking to you in Memphis, bro. What they do out there in Memphis?
No. I don't know
Dwight Howard action, bro.
I'm talking about the player stepping in for Steven Adams. That's it. They need a big man that don't need the ball. That's
you don't think that team got enough drama with Ja out there flashing his guns and trying to be a gangster? They ain't gonna bring in the whole different army. That's a whole different cast they bringing in with Dwight Howard, bro. A whole different cast. All right. They already had enough for the last year.
So they got to figure out somebody. Put it like that.
Okay, let's go back to some of these player props, though.
Yeah, let's do that.
Player props with some money lines to hit. So I'm guessing you're assuming the money line for the Denver Nuggets is probably going to be easy.
Yeah,
one player I think you could really take advantage of early on in the season is a lot of, you go to the Mavs and Nets game, right? You can take advantage of this player because he's been bad. He's been hurt. He's been banged up, but he's playing point guard now, playing a different role. Ben Simmons, his assists is sitting at 6, and he's hit almost every game he's playing, he's hit over 6 assists, even in preseason. So for me, I'm looking at Ben Simmons. I would be attacking Ben Simmons until they get that right. Because back when he was in Philly, this guy was, a triple single damn near, but he had, he would get 9 assists, 8 assists, 10 assists a game. And this Nets team is an underrated team. This is a good basketball team, especially if Cam Thomas keeps playing the way he is.
Man, he lit it up the other night, didn't he? I don't want to check the injury report on this game right quick, though. Because if the Nets have their key pieces playing, I would take the 6. I obviously buy the hook to the new bettors out there. Buy the hook. I would take the 6.5 with Brooklyn. I might even sprinkle the money line. Yeah, I don't see. Well, Nick Claxton is out.
Claxton's out tonight.
Claxton's out, and Cam Johnson's a game time decision. Yeah, I'd stay away.
Yeah, Dallas is gonna fiend on that one. Just do a little parlay, bro. Pick Dallas to win that one real quick.
I don't know if I'm going to go that far, though. I don't like Dallas as a favorite.
I still like the Nets in that game. Even still.
You still like the Nets in that game?
Not money line, but with the points.
You take 6?
I take the 6.
What if Cam Johnson's out, too?
I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. That offense without Cam Thomas looks terrible, bro. And I'm telling you, I'm not –
Cam Johnson, not Cam Thomas.
Yeah, Cam Johnson's game time decision.
No, I'm just saying if Jack Vaughn, right? Jack Vaughn, if Jack Vaughn is gonna, because that's what he loves to do. He loves to put Cam Thomas some minutes restriction. If he's taking him out the game in some of these games, the offense is gonna be terrible. I don't know
why he does it. Every time Cam Thomas has a dope ass game, he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play him the next game." It makes no sense to me.
Makes no sense.
Doing? Like, leave your guys out there. Obviously, they trust him. I really like that Ben Simmons angle. And to be honest, seeing Kyrie and Luka against Wemby the other day, that Dallas team is going to be nasty, bro. And we talked about it, man. We talked about it. I think you and I talked about this. That team, it's actually a really good cast around a kind of underrated team that Dallas is putting together. So I know they didn't make the playoffs last year, kind of tanked out their way out the playoffs last year because of the draft pick. But Dallas, I kind of like the way they're set up right now.
Blake Lively again this year too. I don't know how much I like Dallas going into this season. Are they a top 6 team in the West? Are they a Western Conference playoff team?
Yes, they are.
I don't know if you can say that. There's a lot of teams you can put in the top. Say they're a top 6 West team, though. A lot of teams you can.
That is true. That is true. That is true as well.
Is Oklahoma City a top 6 team in the West?
Nah, They ain't there yet.
Also, you gotta. Is there a top?
You got them in the top 6. OKC in the top 6 over who? Over Phoenix, LA, Denver, Golden State, Sacramento, Clippers. Where are we going?
I don't look at the Clippers. I don't look at those old teams as top 6 teams. I don't look at the Clippers as a top 6. I don't look at Golden State as a top 6. I don't look at the Lakers as a top 6.
Get the fuck out of here. You said the Lakers in the top 16.
I think they're in the 4 to 7 range. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
You got the OKC Thunder over them.
Huh?
You got the OKC Thunder over the Lakers just because they're an older team.
Who do you think is a more talented team? Oklahoma City or the Lakers? The Lakers are more talented. They have LeBron James.
You got upside. Upside with the Thunder. You talking about the Lakers ain't the top team? They were in the Western Conference Finals last year. What was the Thunder doing last year?
They were in the Thunders are a young team.
Thunder was in there on their iPads on TikTok while the Lakers was hooping.
If the Thunder and the Lakers, first of all, look, you can go back and look and see what the records were against the 2 teams last year. Who was the best player on the court? Thunder and the Lakers play.
Best player, best team. I don't care about best player.
Who's the best player?
In crunch time, guess what? I want LeBron over them all. I want LeBron over them all, just like we saw last night.
SGA is the best player between those 2 teams.
Get out of here.
He's not.
Best player between the Lakers and the
Thunder is SGA.
We talking playoffs.
No,
we talking playoffs.
Actually.
I'm taking Bron.
It's not SGA.
You can talk about regular
It's
season statistics. You can talk about
now he got to break it down to what time
fine.
of the year. If it's November, it's one thing. If it's December, it's another thing.
That matters.
SGA is a top player in this league.
So is LeBron. You saying that like LeBron can't be top because SGA is.
Okay. I'm just saying, but those 2 teams play, SGA is the best player on the court.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You might be right. When they play in other teams, SGA is a good player, but heads up, give me Bron all day.
No problem. To go back to gambling, the Brooklyn Nets are away. They've played at home over in New York, and they did have to travel all the way to Dallas. So that kind of plays an effect into this game as well. I don't know why you guys are feeling this Brooklyn Nets train. Especially towards the end of the season last year, they weren't winning a lot of games, even with all this team being together. So they're not a very good team. They're just not. Dallas should be able to mop them.
I don't know. Like I said, we'll see what happens with that. Go ahead, my man. What's the next game?
Oh, just Miami Heat and Boston's playing each other tonight. A little revenge of the East. How you guys feel about that game? Any player props to get into or money lines you want to take?
Right now, it looks like Josh Richardson is out. Caleb Martin's a game time decision. Boston, let me tell you something. Boston should drag these dudes tonight.
Yeah, especially come off the L they just took.
Yeah, Boston should drag.
Minus 8-5. Double-digit win for Boston tonight.
I think Boston get open on. Listen, I probably no professional franchise I hate more than the Boston Celtics, but seeing them against in the Garden of a night against the Knicks. If Porzingis is knocking down threes like that, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat. You know what I'm saying? I think Boston does a number on Miami tonight. And then Boston's a veteran team, so it's not like they're going to go to Miami and do what Bijan Robinson did.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, too. You got to think, Drew Holiday, it's a lot of acclamation for a lot of new pieces for Boston, too, and they're only going to get better. I think Drew is the one piece to me. It seems like if I was going to call a piece off offensively, is Drew Holiday right now. Just trying to figure out his spot because obviously you got the 2 wings out there. So for me, once Drew Holiday gets dialed into his role, probably plays the second unit a little bit more, they're going to be a tough out, bro. Like between them and Milwaukee.
Game 1, Jalen Brunson was 6 of 21. That's Drew Holiday, son. So there you go. Trust me, I don't want to say.
I'm talking about offensively.
I don't want to say, but they got enough. They got Brown, Tatum, Porzingis. They got enough offense. Listen, son, I don't fool with the Boston Celtics, but I got to keep it a buck. If I see it, I got to say it.
What about the Warriors and Kings, man? I know y'all some East Coast guys. Let's talk West Coast ball though. Warriors and Kings, bro. Because this Kings team, they came out the gate. This Kings team is scary to me, dog. If Keegan Murray really is that third piece, like I know Harrison Barnes dropped 30 on opening night, but if Keegan Murray really is that third piece, this Kings team is tough. I think his props in at 15.5 points tonight.
13.5. Keegan Murray's at 13.5.
I'm smashing the over on that, dog. Like he really is the third piece on this team, and I think it's probably a little bit lower because he barely hit that number 2 nights ago, and then Harrison Barnes took a little bit. He got hot in the first half. But Keegan Murray is the piece that Mike Brown really wants to get involved in this offense. He was on All the Smoke, too, talking up Keegan Murray, how he could be that third piece. 13 and a half, bro. That's a smash in my opinion.
He was on all the smoke with
Barnes and Steven Jackson.
With Steven Jackson, the gangster, the righteous gangbanger. So let's go. Now, you know what? I got the Keegan Murray prop for you, right?
What is it?
Keegan Murray prop is Keegan Murray 3-pointers made. That number is 2.5. Give me Keegan Murray over 2.5 threes made. That's the spot right there that I like Keegan Murray.
But if he hits 3 threes, he probably going to cover 13 and a half.
Yeah, he'll probably do both. Yeah, no doubt. 100%. Yeah. You're right about that. I like Keegan Murray. That's one of my favorite players tonight on that prop, excuse me. And then I would do I like the Kings. I think the Kings roll these dudes. Golden State look pre-wash.
Oh no, not pretty washed. They are washed.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed in Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
The offense. That's the only thing.
It's not even about the size. Klay Thompson, if Klay Thompson wasn't hitting open shots the way that we think that he's supposed to, right? Even Chris Paul, he had a couple good plays, but I'm not trusting in that offense and running through him. Stephen Curry, they still got some things to go. They still got some chemistry to work out. It's kind of hard for them to sit here and figure that out and get in the second game against the Sacramento Kings that was giving them issues in the postseason, because in that game, in that 7-game series, the Warriors were having problems with that crew. So I would definitely pick the Kings to win this game as well, because the Golden State Warriors, man, it's just the best. It's really bad basketball what we've seen from them, and I think the Kings are just getting started up.
I mean, just like my eyes, just watching them the other night, I'm like, this don't look the same. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was not a good look for me. So I would I like the Kings. I like that's hey, listen, that's a little bit close to my bedtime. But
on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'll wake up and I'll check the app and I'll see the winner right there.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Any player props for that game besides Keegan Murray?
Besides that Keegan Murray one, I'm not really.
I'll probably stay away.
I take a quick look at it. Those two teams, it's so early in the season. I don't really have enough data yet, but I do know that Keegan Murray one was one I was hitting last year, so I go back to that.
One we could get to this game right here: the San Antonio Spurs versus the Houston Rockets. Right?
Yeah.
Victor and your mama sitting at 17.5. You could change that to 15 points real quick. I think the odds right there is going to be minus 260. That's pretty good odds for 15 points. The man had 15 points in his debut while only playing 23 minutes, bro. He should be able to smash 17.5. He should be able to smash 15. On top of that, bro, I'm believing in some of the rebounds as well. He's sitting at 6.5 right now. You could probably put that down to 5 points with just 6 rebounds. The kid in 23 minutes was able to have 15 and 5. So that goes to show you when he actually has a full game up under him, he's going to produce far more than 17.5 and then 6.5 rebounds. Like, what are we talking about?
The one thing he's shown, though, even in preseason, he's not this big rebounder. I mean, dude, he's really a guard.
He's
obviously,
a leaker.
We know he a guard.
His
so
three is wet. I was like, my God,
yeah, he got shot
like that, Joe.
He got a shot on him, but like I think when it comes to him, I tend to look at like the defensive numbers for him. I think you can find value there with the blocks and the steals, because when he gets hot, it's like if the length is really bothering, especially a team like Houston that's not really disciplined. You know, they got a lot of young guys there in the front court. To me, that's where, like, when they played the Mavs, they were ready for that. Them coaches were out there. They had the extended arms in practice, but they were ready for that. You got the vets in Kyrie and Luka know how to take care of the basketball. Houston's a little bit more reckless. So he's at 3 stocks, 3 blocks and steals. To me, that's a good number for him, because I could see him having a monster day defensively. And then, like I said, just rebounding the basketball. I think that's not really a strength of his, but 6 seems like on the number. 6 seems like damn near about right. He got in foul trouble last game too. I'm curious to see how teams really attack Wemby, and if they attack that length, and if the refs are like calling a little bit more on him, because him getting in foul trouble, Dub, you talked about his minutes. They're gonna stay low if he can't stay out of foul trouble.
The thing I'm not too worried about it is what you said before. They went up against the Dallas Mavericks, and there were some offensive fouls that Grant Williams actually did very well on. So I'm expecting not to happen again, and him playing against a lesser offense, what you said in the Houston Rockets. Because watching them play in their first game. I mean, it was just terrible basketball to see, right? So, like you said, I mean, his 2 blocks right now is sitting at minus 190. That's great odds for 2 blocks. I mean, Victor, if you watch him in the Dallas Mavericks, he does a very good job. He's so freaking long, bro.
Yeah.
He jumps from the free throw line. He's like so close to blocking these shots, right? He's definitely going to be able to get two blocks, 17 and a half. We'll say 5 boards. Then you're gonna get very good odds when you do a parlay like that.
I listen. I don't have a problem with that right there. I would go. I take the Rockets on the money line.
You like the Rockets?
I think the Rockets on the money line. I normally don't like to back teams with new head coaches, but I think after that opening night performance against the Magic, Ime Udoka, he know what he's doing, and I think he's not going to let that slide. I think they bounce back tonight. I'm not going to put it in the parlay because I don't want it to blow a parlay up, but I'll probably throw something on the side for the Rockets to win the game outright.
Rockets to win the game.
I'll stay away from that one.
Yeah, the money line for that game, I'm not gonna lie. That's too. I don't know, because what I seen from Dallas, not that San Antonio, what they was being able to do with Dallas, they showed me a lot, man. They showed me a lot.
You know where I could get in on though is the Magic. The Magic 2.5 point favorites against Portland. And I think Anthony Simons is questionable for this game. He'll probably end up suiting up, but I think he's questionable for this game too. But the Magic, man, they just seem like a better basketball team. The Blazers were pulling out their starters early in the fourth quarter. Like, this team seems like a full rebuild, obviously, for this Trailblazers team without Lillard. But they're going to give their young guys ample opportunity. And Scoot, as much as I like Scoot as a player, he's going to need time to develop and grow. He ain't ready yet. You know, yeah. I know he came on a little bit in the second half, but he's going to need some burn, man, in order to take care of the basketball, become more of an efficient player offensively. This team is more worried about his development than winning games, in my opinion. So
the only thing I worry about, though, Justin, is Orlando. That performance the other night was at home. How does this young team go on the road and handle themselves?
I hear you.
That's really my only thing that I would look at. Like I said, this is still early in the season. It's not enough data yet. So I'm doing like my wagers are smaller.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was going to say I was going to say smaller unit, but pause because I know how juvenile you gentlemen are. But I was going to say my wagers have been smaller. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know really what's going on yet. But I like Orlando, but I want to put eyes on them first.
Yeah, especially maybe it is too early on in season 2, but whenever I see a team having crossed all the way across the country, that's just bad. Yeah, that's just bad mojo for me. Jet lag is a thing, you know. So they played at home. I believe they played at home against the Rockets, and then traveling all the way to Portland. Portland played against the Clippers, so they were still in the West Coast time. Yeah, that time zone change it affects people differently, especially younger teams like the Orlando Magic. Yeah. So I'll just stay away from that money line right there. One of the games I'm actually very excited for is the Detroit Pistons versus the Charlotte Hornets. One of the guys that actually surprised me, Mark Williams, for rebounds. Yeah. He's sitting at 9.5 right now. You can probably lower that to 8. He's a dude, especially against the Detroit Pistons. He should be able to get some glass. The Pistons offense isn't too great outside of Cade Cunningham. Jalen Duran, he's sitting at 10.5 rebounds as well. So the one thing about the Hornets, especially, their low post interior presence is always lacking. And it's still lacking this year besides Mark Williams. Even in the limited minutes he had last season, he was still being able to generate like 7 rebounds a game, right? So Mark Williams on his rebounds, Jalen Duran on his rebounds. I'll probably get Jalen Duran at some points too, right? Some easy buckets, putbacks. He's sitting at 12.5 right now. I'll probably lower that to 10. Probably get a double-double. Cade Cunningham too. The defense of the Hornets is never great. So Cade Cunningham is sitting at 23.5 points. I'll put that right there to 26 assists. And that's a nice little parlay you could do right there to win some easy money, man.
I like Cade. I think he's a pro, a good developing player. Probably would lay off the game. What does intrigue me is the under, that 226. But that's about right on the number, though. I would think that number would have been 229. This game is going to finish between 224 and 228, more than likely. It's no play. And listen, the thing is, to be full disclosure, like, you know, I live in the area, so I get league pass, right? But the Hornets games are blocked out because they say that's my local market. But I can't never find them on TV. So I'm like, well, why is it's ridiculous. Like, it's weird. So I really haven't seen the Hornets play since I moved.
That's crazy.
They still wear the same uniform?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A prop that I
still
like
what
for
it
this
says.
game though, Melo is assist sitting at 7.5. It's probably gonna be an up and down game with the Pistons. So for me, I like Melo over 7.5 assists. I think he had 10 in his last game. So for me, when I, especially when you're talking about pace, it feels like the pace of this game is gonna be a little bit there. Give me LaMelo, man, over 7.5.
Good looking out, Big Storm. VPN, it's not that serious though, because I really don't. I mean, do you really want to watch the Hornets anyway? I'll be watching the Knicks down there in Atlanta. The Knicks should roll the Hawks. Trae Young, 1 from 9 for 3 the other night. If Trae Young is not hitting 3-pointers, what is Trae Young, son? He's a bum.
A bum?
He's a bum. Trae Young. Now I'm not gonna say he's a bum. He's the most overrated player in the NBA.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
this
that's
guy. I was
harsh.
actually just having conversations about this.
I feel like that's the easy. Everybody says that though. I think he got voted. I want to say the players voted him the most overrated in the league too. Like that's easy. I feel like he'll bounce back at some point, man. It's just defensively he's ass. Like you said, if he ain't hitting threes, that Hawks team. I like that Hawks team though. DeJounte Murray's the best player on that team to me though.
No, I think the best player on the team is DeAndre Hunter, to be honest with you, right? I really do. I think Hunter is a good player. See, here the problem is this. If I'm looking at Trae Young, right? I'm looking at Trae Young 3-point prop. Trae Young's 3-point prop is 2.5. You can bet the under on that.
What's funny? What happened?
I just love Corey's that. Y'all don't know because I've been on this Trae Young thing for a very long time. I know starting this week after the games, and it's like you guys violating Trae Young right now, saying DeAndre Hunter's the best. It's just I like you guys, bro. I mean, we just it's just meant to be, I guess. It's just meant to be.
It is meant to be. I take the under on his 3-point prop, and you know who I would take? I would also look at. I like some Emmanuel Quickly over tonight. Emmanuel Quickly, a nice little spark off the bench. Knicks a grown enough team to go to Atlanta and behave themselves too.
Let's see what he's sitting on right now.
Whoa.
A lot of questionable shit on his stream today, y'all.
Yeah, that is crazy. He's sitting at 12.5 right now. You're down for the 12.5? Yeah.
Yeah, I go over 12.5 for Quickly. I might.
Gotcha.
I was thinking Brunson going up against the cone. 23 for Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson probably have a big night too. I think the Knicks roll him, period. Yeah, I think the Knicks go down there and roll him.
Bet. No problem, man. I believe that's going to conclude our today's episode of Even the Odds. 4:58 right now, man. Do you guys have any locks that you guys have saved and stashed away before we transition to the next show?
I think we're pretty good. I think I got everything. Out. I probably would take the 4.5 with the Utah Jazz. I'm not a big Clipper guy, but that's probably not a very popular play. College football tomorrow, I'll probably roll with Utah, getting 6.5 at home versus Oregon. I take that. And then is there a big night game tomorrow night? Oh, yeah, Wisconsin and Ohio State. I'll take Wisconsin on the money line to beat Ohio State.
I ain't got nothing else crazy, bro. I dropped a lot of the player props I had.
Got you, bro.
You need to drop the 49ers next.
You know what, Corey? When we get on, we just need to do some heads up bets, bro. Next show, heads up bets, me versus you. They could be all Niners and Cowboys props if you want, bro.
Deuces, San Francisco 49ers. Get off that losing streak.
I'll take that out front money. I'll take that out front money all day.
Win a game and holla at your boy.
Like the video and subscribe, man. Y'all be easy. Salute.